This way? Okay. So is it with my hair? Okay, so sorry. Oh, yeah, but well, it should fly in the ear. Okay. So this way? Now it functions. Now it's fine. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we have 3 minutes to start. It's a little bit noisy here. Okay, how I okay. Okay. And how we put here the when we need present just one question. When we need to put here how we
already in space.
yeah, but people will work there and then we'll need to put it here. Ah, okay. So
Please use fingerprints.
okay. Ah, okay, I see. So okay, now I understand how it works. Okay, thank you. Okay, good, thank you. So just 1 minute and we start according to my clock. Does the time of my clock complies with the time on your clocks? So the same. So it is fine here. Yes, thank you so much. Now I can hear myself and I hopefully can hear you as well. Before it was impossible, but okay. So is it fine here? And another question, can the online participants participate in the discussion or not? They can't? No? No, it works. Okay, but I will be moving around, it's fine. So it's time to start. So thank you. First of all, let's start with gratitude. It's important. Thank you very much for choosing my workshop and for losing 3 hours of your life to spend it together. This is a big honor for me. So, and I do hope that after the workshop, you won't think that you lose 3 hours of your time. But okay, we'll see. So let's start with introductions because we need to know each other. So I am, as you see, I am Irene Darcia or Irene Darcia, whatever you prefer, from Georgia. And I want to start with the first slide of the country from where I am, because there are 2 Georgias in the world. One Georgia is in, here in United States, it's a state of Georgia, and another Georgia is former Soviet Republic. So I am from that Georgia. So I'm from Georgia, from Caucasus, which is dividing Europe from Asia. So, and sometimes it's confusing and it's important to understand. So here is my country I'm coming from. So now a very few words about the structure of our workshop. I hope that you checked already the summary of it, but just to remember. So we start with introduction. You already know that I'm from Georgia, and I will say a few words about myself later on. So you know that the main focus of the conference is stakeholders. This is a magic word. And during the conference papers and workshops, you will learn many different dimensions of this word and how these guys, stakeholders, are very important. But we'll try to define, who are the stakeholders, because here we also are stakeholders, but there are lots of them around us. So then we speak about, we'll try to understand who are internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, why it's so important to involve them in our everyday life in the universities and in quality assurance. We'll speak about the role they play, not always they play, about the role they should play, but sometimes they don't. We speak about the curricular development process if we have time, I'm not sure. And the main focus will be discussing the communication and collaboration strategies with their stakeholders. Then we will have group work, of course. Here we have prepared everything, and you will work independently. Then you will present your results, and then we'll summarize together and try to understand what we can do in order to involve stakeholders in curricular development in our quality assurance processes. So let's start with introductions. I want to ask you to introduce not yourselves, but the people who is sitting next to you. For example, you present each other, maybe you and I will present each other's. You here, okay, here, you will find your match there, you, and you. So we talk just 3 minutes, okay? Ask, maybe you already know each other. I don't know, but maybe you don't. It's better if you don't know each other. But because definitely nobody knows me here. Yes, please. Well, I'm so sorry. Yeah, no problem. Well, so, and just, ask a few questions, your neighbor, the person sitting next to you. And then just with 3 words, with 3 very, very short sentences, introduce to us the person sitting next to you. Maybe study, what he has studied, job, or maybe hobby. It depends. Okay? So let's start. I already count the time. So you have 3 minutes. Okay. So no, let's yeah. So yeah, I'll ask you. Or maybe you ask me. Okay, you ask me.
Okay, so I believe you are an associate professor at the Tbilisi State University. What is your faculty?
Oh, classics, ancient Greek.
Classic ancient Greek.
Ancient Greek. Yeah.
You completed your PhD from Georgia.
Sorry?
You did your PhD from Georgia.
Yes, and I've studied also in Greece and Germany. Georgia, Greece, and Germany.
Greece, Georgia,
and Germany.
3 Gs.
Yeah, good. Very good point.
3 G.
Okay.
3 G.
Okay, good.
Okay, so what are your hobbies?
Traveling.
Traveling.
And I have a dream to travel in 60 countries till my 60. Till my 60. 60 years.
So you are 60 years?
No, I'm not 60 years. Before I become 60 years, to have traveled in 60 countries.
60 countries. So now you can answer me.
Okay. So, which is, where did you work?
My name is Pnqahe.
Okay. How?
And I work at Comsats University.
Hey, Bilal.
I'm an associate professor of electrical engineering.
Okay.
Did my PhD from USA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good.
Also traveling.
Okay. And
I travel like with 14 or 15 countries around conferences and shops and stuff like that.
I only 43.
Sorry?
I traveled only 43 countries.
43, you've been 43 countries, but
Yeah.
your goal is 40, your goal is
60. Good.
I'm the head of quality assurance at my university.
Okay. Which university?
It's Comsats. It's
Comsats. Okay.
Comsats.
Good. Thank you.
Your university, Harry.
Irene. Yes.
Can you take pictures of this guy?
Yes, of course. So can we start? Can we start? Let's start from here. Silence, please.
Okay, I'm going to introduce my friend. He's Mr. Syed Ibrahim Shah.
Well, please. Well, just give them. Well, another 2 minutes. Another 2 minutes. Okay. So everybody know each other now? Good. Let's start.
Okay, I'm going to introduce my neighbor.
Please don't speak.
Name is Syed Ibrahim Shah. He has done MS in economics from Sciences University, Peshawar. Currently, he is enrolled in PhD in economics, and he is working as assistant professor at Government College of Management Sciences, number 1, Badan. And his hobbies include, I guess, listening to music and reading books, mostly the philosophical books and history. And history, especially the Islamic history and Asian history.
Great. Fantastic. And now we change.
Introduce my best friend, you can say. His name is.
What a pity that you already knew each other.
His name is Mr. Najibullah. He belongs to Baghdad, and he has done his MS Finance from Northern University, Noida. And he's also working as a lecturer in Government College of Management Sciences, Baghdad. And you can say that our hobbies are almost the same because our hobbies resonate.
That's why you're friends. Okay.
Same hobby. So it's listening to music and reading books like philosophical books, mostly Islamic, like Imam Ghazali and etc. These sort of books. And you can say that listening to music, you can say that his first preference will be to listen to Pashto music. And reading very fun and interpreting his, you can say, poetry, poetry. So it will be.
And you work for quality assurance. Great. So that's why quality assurance is proceeding. So let's not here now, here. Yeah. Please don't speak.
Dr. Asma is postgraduate studies at and she's done her PhD in political science, and she's an expert in her field, and she writes really well. She's very expressive when it comes to writing. It's writing and English writing. And I am actually a fan of her. We work at the same place as easier. So we get connect her, and she has a wonderful family, mother of three sons.
Oh, the most important thing.
They're not cute. Bobby is Batalia, and I've done that. But we've got
Okay.
She's done a PhD in applied psychology. Clinical psychology, one of the is also the dean of social sciences and humanities. He is watching a movie, and she is again a young mother of lovely kids that she has, and she spends time with them and back with us. If we leave any time for her, and you can.
Good, thank you. So please.
Well, I'm introducing a person sitting beside me. He is Mr. Sayar Ahmed. He is assistant professor of botany in Government Degree College, Bajor, Pnqahe. He is also serving as quality enhancement cell as a focal person, and his interests are collecting plants and taking photographs and traveling to get photographs of different diverse plants. That's what I get.
Good, and now?
Okay, ma'am. Friends, this is the first time we met together. Mr. Mohammed Suhail, Assistant Professor of Accounting and Finance at Government College of Management Science, Haripur, Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa. He is working as a coordinator of BS program and as well as BBA. His party is traveling.
All of us like traveling. Good, thank you. And well, next team. Yes, please. Let's start.
My name is Dr. Bilal Idas.
No. I will introduce you.
I will be introducing Ray. So she is an associate professor of classical ancient Greek, and I just gave her the title of 3G
Yeah.
because she studied in three European countries: Greece, Georgia, and Germany. That's why it is 3G.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so in her free time, she loves to travel. That's the hobby. And so far, she has traveled 43 countries, and her goal is to travel to 60 countries until she turns.
Okay. Just in 7 years.
It's quite a time because I think she's like 25.
A little bit more.
And she traveled to 60 countries.
Okay, great. So this is Bilal. He is his PhD and his field of studies and research is electronical engineering. He did his PhD in USA. He works in the University of Islamabad, Comsat University of Quality Assurance Cell, and we also share the hobbies. The hobby this is traveling, and I'm very jealous that he has traveled more than me in around 50 countries. Good. So next team would like to speak. Yes, please.
My name is Ina, and I think it's my colleague, he's an entomologist, everything also a focal person of mistake in his knowledge, and then his hobbies are playing with the papers and reading to practice.
Okay, very good.
To introduce my colleague, Ms. Hina. Currently, she is serving as a deputy director in Speed University in London. She completed his first diploma in project management. Currently, she is a PhD scholar, and their area of research is entrepreneurship. And their hobbies included photography, painting, like that.
Okay, very good. Next team. Yes, please.
My name is Aisha, and I am going to be trying to be Comrade Saraj. He has done his MPhil in history and also the lecture in history and also performing the additional duty of assistant director QEC in Aurora University sector.
I've been there, by the way.
Yes.
Aurora is.
Mhm.
And his hobby is sports and he likes the Filipino culture.
Okay, good. No.
Activities. Ashani, he did her MS project and he's full time as assistant director QC in Pnqahe University, Lahore. She has noted in she wanted to read more books as this is
Mhm. Good. Next team, please.
This is Dr. Javed Iqbal, 45-year-old, who's having professor in government college, Gari Kapro, Madras. His research in business communication and his hobbies is storytelling, cycling, and he's also a food seeker.
Very important.
My friend, he is Mr. Daniel from University of Option. He's 48 of age and he is enrolled in the IT at Kailawan University in Option. And he has research interest in IT also. And he is currently serving deputy director at University. His hobbies is playing badminton. He has drawn yes. And he's
Okay, good. Next team. Yes, please. Oh, okay. We'll be here now. I'm so sorry. They were trying. Yeah. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
Siddharth Khan. He has done his MS in Management Sciences from International Islamic University. Currently, he is working as a manager, education and collaboration in Islamabad. And his hobbies are book reading and currently reading on the biography of Hazrat Umar.
Okay. Next team, please.
my friend, Dr. Fahad. He has a PhD from the university, whereas currently he's working in life sciences as a head of department. His hobbies are walking and everything.
Okay. Thank you.
So we have it's an author and basically an economist, and he works as a principal for doctors Ehsan and ever chancellor. And it depends on his mood, whatever he likes.
Okay, good. It's a luxury, by the way. Next team. Yes, please.
In qualification, he is nursing at Samash University, head of UEC. Qualification is nursing, is hobby, and he loves cricket and writing and reading books.
Good. Thank you.
Lal Baksh from Sakka. He has done food science from Shah Abdul Latif University. He has recently worked as an assistant director QC at Aurora University.
Okay, good. Next team. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Akhtar. Let me introduce my friend. He is Wasim Ahmed, Dr. Wasim Ahmed. He did PhD in botany. Now he's working in the Government Degree College, India. His hobby is listening to hobbies.
Good.
That's fine. My friend is Dr. Hussain, and he has done his PhD in environmental sciences and is currently serving and Aurora University same as a director of education. And his hobby is reading books and there are some more, but
Okay. Good. Next team. Yes, please.
He is Bilal Singh. Now, so he's the person and the major and
Okay, good. And you?
This is, Janab sir, lecture of Ravi said, what will be the so I will go whether college.
Okay, good. Next team. Yes, please.
And we named Gibran Khan, assistant professor of science at Congress College of He belongs to Bushera. His hobbies are reading and surfing internet.
Yeah, good. And you?
My friend and he's currently working as a lecturer of English.
Humanities like me. We're humanities, that's only me and okay.
And he belongs to South Uzbekistan. Hobbies are watching movies, and his favorite movie is Important Series.
Very good. My daughters as well. Well, next team. Yes, please.
My friend Dr. Tahir. He's basically a plastic surgeon and a professor in the medical university.
Is it popular plastic surgery here?
Plastic surgeon?
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know if there's anyone else. But his abilities are that
Good.
a lot of concession if you bring your own plastic, then you don't want.
Good.
Actually, he likes to see sightseeing is his main hobby, traveling.
Okay,
He also lives in this family.
good. You?
My senior is Syed Dr. Syed Alanda Khalasa. He is PhD in electrical engineering and presently serving in the Sena University as a registrar.
Okay, thank you. Next team. Yes, please.
I am Dr. Sayed, and my colleague is Dr. Hussain Bhai. He is assistant professor in his university, life principles. And he has his in China and currently is working as assistant professor. And the deputy director
Okay.
is Dr. Mohammed Said from the same institute, and he's associate professor in chemistry. And we know each other last 5 to 6 years. And I also know your area, Georgia, Tennessee. There's my friend. She is working with me last 6 to 7 years. We have published almost 6 books together.
Wow. Good.
I'm very familiar with your area.
Very good. I'm very happy. Next team. Yes, please.
And she is assistant professor of Urdu at government
Humanities, like me.
postgraduate college for girls in Kawabi. It is a shared connection of Kawabi. We both are from Kawabi. Her hobbies are gardening and bookstore.
Good. And you? Okay, thank you. One question. How many people speak Urdu all over the world? Many million. Yeah, I can imagine. Next team. Yes, please. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, good. Thank you so much. Any team remaining? Okay. All of us know each other. Look, one very interesting observation. We're coming from so so many different fields: humanities, biochemistry, chemistry, engineering, business, political sciences, surgery, I don't know, computing. And there's one thing which unites us, you know, and we came from 10 different countries now, the speakers for this conference. But we are here because of the quality assurance. But in fact, why quality assurance is important? Because quality assurance helps our universities to teach better. And when our universities teach better, it means that our societies have more educated people, more educated professionals, which means that our countries become stronger. So we are here for our countries, to make our countries stronger. So, and let's discuss what can we do with the help of so-called stakeholders to make our job even more efficient, to make our universities better, to make our graduates more competitive, and to make our countries stronger. So, it doesn't work. Why? I want next slide. Technologies. It's my fault. It's not my fault because I'm from the humanities and can't use technology. Even the specialists can't use it sometimes. I can change from here as well. Okay. Okay. So before we continue to the, let's start with the definition of the stakeholder. Well, just one or two ideas. What do you think? Who are stakeholders? What's the definition? I don't ask who are stakeholders, you know, different representatives of different parts of the society. No. How can we describe the stakeholders, the definition of stakeholders? Any ideas? Sorry, what?
Which are involved.
Okay, which are involved?
Directly affected by the decisions and actions.
Directly affected by decisions and actions. And you?
What the responsibility?
What are?
Who is the responsibility?
Responsibility, yes, of course.
What influence are
Yeah, some influences, okay. And last comment.
Who is directly or indirectly affected by any actions.
Who are affected by the actions. Very good approaches, very diverse approaches. Now let's see what the science says about it. There's a definition by Freeman, very popular one. A stakeholder in an organization is any group of individuals who can affect or is affected by the achievement of the organization's objectives. Another definition by Wilson: any person, group, or organization that can place a claim on an organization's attention, resources, or output, or is affected by the output. So, another definition by the European Commission, because we're coming from Europe and, you know, we're trying to share with you some good practices we have there. Stakeholders are individuals or groups with an interest in the company's activities and can include employees, customers, suppliers, investors, and the community. In fact, the whole world. And now, definition of the stakeholders in higher education, because, you know, in fact, the definition of the stakeholders came to higher education from business. From the business sector, like quality assurance. We didn't have quality assurance in higher education till recently. But as you know, now we're trying to commercialize our universities. Now we're trying to address the, sustainability goals of United Nations, and we try to increase the number of higher education graduates and to increase the accessibility to higher education. And now all these things require, it's more or less becoming business along with the public good, of course. That's why we're trying, of course, I don't know it's good or bad, but it's a reality, to use some, business tool in the higher education as well. So now we'll see the definition of stakeholders adopted to the higher education needs. In the context of higher education, stakeholders include all individuals and groups who are directly or indirectly affected by or have an interest in the functioning, policies, and outcomes of the educational institutions. So we have already contextualized. So, and now, who are the stakeholders higher education? We agree that there are internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. So let's give me some ideas. Who are the internal stakeholders? Students, faculty. I'm sorry? Administrators, of course. Who else? Staff? Parents. Oh, so good comment. Well, we'll go to this issue back actually just a couple of minutes because it's a very big question. So society, society. And what we say more precisely about the society, because society is it's society, but it's a little bit too general. More concretely, what could we say? Community engagement, communities, yeah. What else? Yeah, what else? Who else? Some other stakeholders, internal, external stakeholders. Any two ideas, and then I'll go to this and open the slides. Industries.
Market, media.
Media, very good comment.
Market.
Market in a very, very broad sense. Regulators as well, yeah. So, first of all, we start with internal stakeholders. We start with the students who are primary beneficiaries and who participate in learning and feedback and also in governance. So, the next, also very important, and you already mentioned, academic staff. We sometimes call faculty members, and sometimes we call teaching staff, because we have full-time and also part-time members, which are just teaching staff. They design and deliver curricula, conduct research, and supervise students. Of course, administrative and support staff, you already mentioned, and we ensure, all everyday operations, registrars, finances, HR, IT support, in fact, everything. And also, they could be quality assurance cells, by the way, quality assurance services. Well, it's important to underline one very specific issue. Not all countries have special structural units for internal quality assurance. That's why when you read, different materials, summary studies, not always quality assurance people, internal quality assurance people, are stated as stakeholders. And it's not coincidence that you didn't mention yourselves, while you're also stakeholders. You're organizers, you're coordinators, but you're also the stakeholders.
The administration of
Yes. But it's important to underline of course, to understand our importance, to understand the importance of the role we play in the universities in all these interactions between, different worlds, I would say. Institutional leadership includes rectors, deans, department heads responsible for strategic planning and governance. Okay. governance bodies in the universities. By the way, you didn't mention it. I'm so quite surprised. University senates. Do you have senates, academic boards here in Pakistan? Yeah, they are important. Yeah, of course, sometimes, everything is done by the administrative staff. And, the governing bodies say yes or no, usually. But their yes and no are very important because all, legal decisions usually taken by them, by their yes or no's. Involved in decision making and policy development. Well, this is another very interesting category of stakeholders, I would say, and it's not coincidence that you didn't mention it, which is researchers and research units. Often faculty, but can include dedicated research staff at centers, contribute to knowledge creation, innovation. Why I underline it? Because the universities have different structures. I don't know how it's in Pakistan, but in Europe, some universities have only faculties or schools where professors are at the same time researchers as well. And we agree that nowadays professors should be researchers as well. Otherwise, they are just teaching, teachers. Well, but in many European universities, there are also separate units like research institutes, research centers, research labs, which belong to the university, which don't teach but do research. Okay, sometimes and quite often they're somehow involved in teaching, supervising master and PhD students and doing research together with their faculty staff. But they have separate statues. They're called researchers. Do you have such structure in the Pakistani universities? Yes, you do. So, in the case, if the research centers are present in the universities, their representatives are stakeholders as well, which sometimes we forget. Well, we should remember, because their feedback, their involvement is extremely important for the quality of research, for bridging gaps for between, knowledge society, the university, economy, industry, and because they are important, or they should be important agents for combining teaching and research, which is one of the priorities of the modern university. So, alumni. So look, I put alumni among the internal stakeholders and also put the question mark here. Do you know why? Why I did put question mark to the alumni, to the graduates of the universities as an external stakeholders? What do you think? Any ideas why I did it?
Your role
Graduated.
Yes.
That since they're external, but they stay connected. Like in our institution, it's a very close connection between the
Yes. Very good comment. Very good point. Sometimes they are external because they graduated and went, but in some cases they are actively involved in the university's everyday life. And in such cases, it's questionable. Do they belong to internal stakeholders or external stakeholders? It's quite a tricky question. So, though technically external alumni are sometimes considered internal due to their ongoing influence, especially and mentoring. Sometimes, alumni are mentors of our students, so they are internal. Anyway, so let's go to the external stakeholders, employers and industry representatives you already mentioned. They influence curriculum relevance and provide employment opportunities for graduates. Government and regulatory bodies. I guess that they are very important in the university, in the higher education system of Pakistan. Ministries of education, accreditation agencies, funding authorities, which set policies, provide funding, and ensure quality assurance, because without funding, we don't function. And the structural units, organizations who give funds, they're important. They are one of the main stakeholders, I would say. Professional associations, I'm surprised that nobody mentioned them. Are here in Pakistan professional organizations quite active, quite strong, or not so much? That's why you didn't mention it. Yeah, okay. This is, by the way, one of the areas for further development, not only Pakistan, but everywhere. You know, because in professional expertise and their professional knowledge of the needs for the development of different fields should be concentrated in professional bodies, and they should be much stronger than they are today. By the way, in some educational contexts, but mainly in US, quite often the professional organizations are at the same time accrediting bodies. So, for example, in Pakistan, in most European countries, we have, some accreditation bodies, accreditation agencies who, combine representatives of, different stakeholders in government as well. But in many cases in US, professional bodies are responsible for accreditation of the programs. Frankly speaking, I don't think that this is the best solution. I don't think that professional bodies can be sometimes objective, because there could be conflict of interest, positive or negative. So I would not give these functions to the professional bodies. I find it a little bit extreme, but from another side, their involvement as external stakeholders in quality assurance should be increased. So we should not exaggerate their function, and we should not underestimate them. So to find the gold balance should be the most important. So, and well, what you just mentioned, I had this on my slide, parents and families with the question marks. Because, well, when we speak about higher secondary education, it's obvious, that parents are, stakeholders are important. And all, schools, all secondary schools all over the world have boards, which consists of the parents, and, the parents are asked. And by the way, I don't know how familiar you are with and if there is a school accreditation, secondary education accreditation system here in Pakistan, but in European countries where there are accreditation system of secondary schools, parents are always interviewed. And when my daughter was studying in the school, now she's first year student, she just graduated, I was interviewed twice, during the accreditation of my daughter's school, how happy I was with the studies, facilities, blah, blah, blah. But what about university? There's no accreditation body in the world who interviews parents or families. No. Because, the university graduates are already, university students are already adults. Okay. And formally, the parents and families are not stakeholders, because it's already adults. But what's going on in reality? Very often, the families and parents pay, fund, or have paid the students' studies. So in this case, they are also somehow, they influence the processes, and they are also influenced by the educational processes. So maybe we should consider the parents as well. Yeah, but nowadays they are not formally considered as stakeholders. But frankly speaking, Well, and there's another issue as well, educational context, the cultural context, For example, when we speak about the universities in Scandinavia, in West Europe, US, Canada, it's another culture, another communication of their families where adults, For example, when the German or Scandinavian students studies, their families usually don't pay for their studies. They are adult, they're independent. While the story is different, I know in India or in Georgia or in some Southern European countries, and I guess in Pakistan as well. So, and in similar, more Eastern educational and cultural contexts, maybe parents are also important, but formally, they are not considered stakeholders. But nowadays, Georgia, my country, is very popular destination for medical schools. So many international students from Asia, from Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India, Arab countries, Israel, some Kazakhstan, Asian countries are coming to Georgia for medical studies because our medical schools are recognized by the World Federation of Medical Education. Well, and when the universities make recruitment of their students, our universities go and speak with the parents. They meet the parents because they know that for the Asian countries, parents and families are real stakeholders. They're really involved in these processes. So while marketing and recruitment, okay, parents and families are stakeholders, but not officially, formally for quality assurance. So local communities, external stakeholders you already mentioned. They are affected by engaged with the university through outreach, cultural events, and social initiatives. Another very important category and I don't think that you mentioned, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and civil society may collaborate on research, social responsibility project, advocacy work, and this category of stakeholders are not just important, they are crucial for addressing the world sustain with the biggest challenges of the societies of the civil society and sustainability goals as well. And when we go back to curricular development and for the aims of the curricula, for the issues should be covered by the curricula. And when we reach these sustainability issues, we'll see that the non-governmental organizations and civil society play the crucial role. International partners. You could also mention them. So, including universities, research institutes, mobility program coordinators involved in exchange, doing degrees, collaboration, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because when I want to attract international students, okay, when I want this mobility, when I want this exchange, I should ask the opinion of my international partners. So, and by the way, today I had a conversation with the representatives of the Lahore University, and I just learned that Lahore University is trying to get international accreditation by one United States agency. So in this case, these international partners are very important stakeholders. Media and public opinion, it was mentioned, and I'm surprised because not all studies, research always mention media and public opinion, while it matters. Influence institutional reputation and accountability, but again, they are not formally considered stakeholders, while de facto they are. because non-accreditation agency invites them for interview. And while summarizing of this categorization of the stakeholders, I will go back how we can include these important stakeholders in the processes. Funding agencies and donors provide scholarships, grants, infrastructure support, and expect transparency and impact, of course. And alumni, in this case, we're definitely sure that alumni graduates are external stakeholders, while sometimes they may act as internal ones. Help align academic programs with employment and society need. So, and just one, final remark, when we see that there are some representatives, some categories of the alumni, which don't formally belong, or from the first sight, don't formally belong to these stakeholders, please invite them, ask them, involve them in the processes as social partners. So you can invite parents, you can invite media organizations, okay, anyway, professional bodies and industries and things like this, but also the different types of society representatives in order to have as wide a presence of different circles as possible, which will be really beneficial. Now, any questions about, yes, please. Please tell me which one. Yeah, they are employers. Just a moment, we'll go back. Oh, I'm sorry. We had them. Yeah, employers and industry representatives. Yeah. I'm sorry? Well, ranking agencies could be here. It depends, or government and regulatory bodies or professional associations. Yeah. In fact, not all countries have ranking agencies. That's why this is not in the list. Usually, there are some international ranking organizations like Shanghai or QS or United Times, but they are not considered as, formal stakeholders, because you can't invite them, you can't ask their opinion. Of course, you may consult the results of the ranking. Of course, you may use the results of their rankings in your quality assurance processes, and it's done quite often. It's quite a good indicator when I want to say that my university has good research in physics, let's say, okay? I go and say, okay, my university is number 126 in physics according to Times, or 210, I don't know, according to Shanghai. So I use this data of international rankings as indicators for some quality assurance data, yeah, but formally we can't say that they are. Yeah. Yeah, they are interested, but it's difficult. Well, when we speak about stakeholders, it's we should invite them and we should consult them, and it's quite tricky to consult the ranking institutions if in your country there is a special body. Is there a special body here in Pakistan responsible for rankings, for university rankings? Yeah, in this case, okay. In this case, based on your local context, local legal context, educational context, cultural context, you may put this, yeah, of course. I'm sorry? Yeah. Yeah. But these accreditation agencies are here, with their and these accreditation agencies can be, anywhere, anybody. Sometimes they are called accreditation agencies. Sometimes they're called, assessment organization, assessment centers, quality enhancement centers. Like in my country, we don't have accreditation center. No, we have quality enhancement center. Yeah, very often, or they have quality assessment centers. The titles differ. The most important is that they're bodies whose decision ensures your recognition by the government or by the governments. That's the main topic. Good. Any other question? Just one question. Is anybody here in this room who doesn't have experience in engaging with their internal or external stakeholders? Nobody, of course. Yeah, this is our main function, to engage with the stakeholders. Well, and just a few ideas. Which were the challenges of you experienced with communication or collaboration with the stakeholders? Because there's one stage, communication, and there's another stage, collaboration. Yeah, both stages are important. We start with communication, and then we continue with collaboration. And the proper communication is a very good prerequisite for proper collaboration and for the real results. Because, well, I'm working for quality assurance since 2005. Already in June 1st, I have my 20 years anniversary, and I'm working both nationally in Georgia and internationally. I'm working for the quality assurance agencies in Lithuania, Latvia, Slovenia, Ukraine, Malta, and also Ireland. So 6 countries. I also worked for some German universities as well with the DID organization. So, and after in 20 years, I would say that involvement of stakeholders doesn't mean really good, tangible results. We communicate with them, we collaborate, we try to collaborate with them, we do everything correctly, but we don't have real results. We are not happy with the involvement. We do our best, but still. So there are challenges. And do you have any challenge? And could you just mention 1 or 2? Just, introduction to the next steps. Yes, please.
Wish list.
Okay.
Wish list is quite huge for stakeholders whether they are accreditation bodies,
Okay.
leaders, or even students or parents.
Mm-hmm.
They demand a lot.
They demand lots, so they are too demanding. Okay, wish list is a very good comment, by the way. Well, the challenge is the wish list. For example, okay, the students may come and may ask, look, I want to have, okay, they ask you to have this cafeteria, I don't know, no, they may ask, I want to have a gym, or I want to have a swimming pool. Okay, so what we're doing, yeah, sometimes their expectations and their wish list is not very realistic. Please.
The same thing that accreditation body, they don't understand the intrinsic compulsions of the certain areas and certain universities and their genuine problem. They just have their demand and they want that keep them at every cost without realizing that even if they come and sit at my place, they will not be accepted.
Yeah, exactly. Unrealistic expectations from the stakeholders. Yeah. Anything else? Yes, please.
Challenges, there is financial challenges, difference between the urban and rural schools education.
Yeah, definitely. And last challenge, and then we'll continue.
Real life challenge is poverty there on next week. Actually, management knowledge, punctuality and discipline is crucial for quality assurance.
Yeah.
So we noticed a couple of months ago that a lot of students are remaining absent from the class. So we started contacting them and their parents as well. And just 70% of the responses were like, my son is working with me in my shop. If he does not work, what would we eat tonight? So I think how is the main challenge that I have faced?
Yeah. Look, here you mentioned some challenges, which are challenges, of the quality education. Let's think, well, it's quite specific about the challenges we have with the communication with the stakeholders. Because what you mentioned is a challenge, related to student population and their parents, it's their lack of discipline and lack of motivation, lack of responsibility. Okay, but we can't say that this is a challenge related to the stakeholders' involvement in curricular development. No. So, but anyway, if I start with this mentioning, quality assurance challenges, the huge list, and they are very much interrelated. But let's think during this workshop about, more specific challenges related to the stakeholders' involvement. When I am developing the curricula, I'm trying to understand what to teach, how to teach, okay? And in this case, in this process of understanding the content of the program, of the educational programs, the learning outcomes of the program, the knowledge, skills, some values, autonomy, responsibility, I ask different, well, when I'm thinking of the learning outcomes, when I'm thinking about the final product, the graduate who should be employed after graduation, when I'm thinking of this product, what to teach, how to teach, by whom teach, well, I ask, different stakeholders. I need stakeholders' opinion, but not just opinion. I want to have a swimming pool in the university. Okay, no, to understand the real needs of the curricula, what should be offered and how it should be offered. And in this case, the opinion of the stakeholders are important in the defining of the concept, in the defining of the learning outcomes, in the defining of a teaching and learning methodology, in the defining of assessment methodology, And in this moment, I go and ask students, my colleagues, administrative staff, I ask employers, I ask industry representatives. I may go and ask some, theater people, movie theater people, or arts people, if it's our art education programs, okay? So I ask also, there's some professional organizations or medical or nursing organization, I don't know, or psychologists or anyway. So I go and ask, my international partners, what do you think? What I should teach and how I should teach and how I should assess. So the involvement stakeholders in the curricular development is asking the proper questions to the proper people, to getting the proper answers. That's a big issue. That's the main challenge, to get the proper answers. To get the proper answers and to use the proper answers in order to get the best possible results. So, why it is important to involve both internal and external stakeholders in the development of higher education curricula. So now we focus on curricula development, on the content and methodology I teach. They are important for relevance and responsiveness. For example, employers, professional bodies, they help to align curricula with the labor market's needs, ensuring graduates have relevant skills and competencies. We also need faculty and students to contribute to academic and pedagogical expertise to make the curriculum intellectually rigorous and engaging. So we need stakeholders for the relevance and responsiveness of the curriculum, of the programs. We need them for quality and for accreditation. So they contribute to their involvement enhances transparency, because I'm not a closed club, doing what I want, but I'm open to the different categories of the society, and they help me to meet some national and international standards as well. So, and also they help me to have quality assurance processes evidence-based, that is scientifically reliable, because quality assurance is a study, is a research, is a So we need involvement of stakeholders, all stakeholders we mentioned today, for ownership and engagement. And this is, this is not very tangible. I really can't go and measure, but it matters. It's like a public opinion. It's like a media. So in this case, when I involve that, I achieve, somehow shared responsibility. Because in order to have really good results, I need, this interrelation, interchange. Then it also increased motivation and commitment among the staff. When I go and ask the opinion of stakeholders, they understand that they matter. They understand that I consider them important. So their attitude towards me, the institution, the program, and the department improves, which has also positive impact on their processes. So then, innovation, interdisciplinarity. Well, I'm a little bit skeptical because not always involvement of stakeholders ensures innovativeness and interdisciplinarity. Because, I may ask, but if I don't get qualified, proper answers, I can't ensure innovation, but theoretically, their involvement may ensure innovation and interdisciplinarity, because they're coming from different fields and they, give different dimensions of the subject. So, their involvement is important for social responsibility and impact, to address, social challenges, promote sustainability, equity, civic engagement, I already mentioned. And the involvement is crucial to address the so-called third mission of the university, because now we know that then the main trend all over the world in the higher education is, research, teaching, and third mission, that is service to society. Well, and Last but not least, it's important involvement of stakeholders. It's important for internationalization and mobility. Their engagement, also engagement with international alumni, may help harmonize curricula with the global standards, facilitating staff mobility, joint programs, joint degrees, and so on, which also have positive impact on quality of education. So, just to summarize, we need involvement of internal and external stakeholders in curricula development, not in general in the university life, to ensure the relevance and responsiveness of the university curriculum, quality and accreditation, ownership and engagement, innovation, interdisciplinarity, social responsibility and impact, internationalization, and mobility. That's why the involvement matters. Any question about these topics or what we have just discussed? So, just one question. Well, I'm coming from Europe, as I already mentioned. And in European universities, in the European countries, involvement of internal and external stakeholders is regulated by the internal regulations of the universities. But do you know why? Because it is obligatory by the national legislation. And do you know why national legislation made obligatory involvement of stakeholders in curricular development? Because there is European regulations, you know, there's European standards and guidelines for quality assurance, which obliges all countries of the Bologna process and European higher education area to involve stakeholders in curricular development. Just quick question to you. Is obligatory for Pakistani universities to involve stakeholders in curriculum development?
Yes.
Yes. Yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
There are stakeholders.
Why? Which is a, you know, in our country, in my country, and some other European countries, you know, there are three levels. Well, this is European level, which asks the governments on national level, and then the national government, national level asks the universities on internal university level. And here, you're just trying to adjust to international trends, or it's something else? Great, so we are on the same page. Great. So I will skip these slides. Okay, you know. Okay. So, now, before we go and discuss together about which role and how the stakeholders may play in curricular development, we may have a break 15 minutes. Let's have a break for 15 minutes and let's continue after 15 minutes. And I will speak just, you know, maybe 20 minutes. And then we go and to working groups. Okay? See you in 15 minutes. Okay.
each and every external member from the industry in each and every
I let you go for a break before the coffee break because tea break, sorry. I didn't know, I wasn't informed that there would be a tea break. That's why I decided to offer you the break when we finalize the two main topics, the two parts of the workshop, and I decided to make their break after the two parts and to leave their two final parts after their break. So as we had unplanned, for me it was unplanned tea break, I would like to ask you to use to stay 15 minutes after the fifth 5 o'clock, just to be sure that we finalize everything we wanted to discuss, just to compensate the 15 minutes of my, let's say, mistake. So today we have two topics to discuss now, and then you will have the group work, and I will show you. Well, it doesn't function. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Well, I just show you what we're going to do during the group work. So it will help you to concentrate more on the two topics we'll cover today before the group work. So we will form 4 groups here, okay? One group will work on students' involvement in curricular development. The second group will work on alumni involvement. Oh. The third group about employers, and the fourth group about NGOs and other social partners. Of course, we agree that there are lots of stakeholders, but we don't have time. So we will work, in 4 groups with about 4 the most important and main stakeholders. And you will be asked to discuss, prepare, and present the action plan with at least 5 activities for communication and collaboration with the stakeholders. Please consider communication and collaboration. At least 5 activities, what you would plan to involve stakeholders, students or alumni or employers or NGOs in curricular development. And then you will be asked to formulate 5 questions you ask the stakeholder. Okay? But we'll go back to this after the little bit discussion. So, and when you will be split in 4 groups, you will be, you should choose the moderator of the group, the moderator of the discussion, and also rapporteur who will present the results of your group work. Is it clear what we are going to do? Good. And now let's going back to the topics. So now we discussed the definition of the stakeholders. We categorize different types of internal and external stakeholders. We spoke about the importance of the stakeholders' involvement, not in general university processes, but in curricular development specifically. And now we should discuss which role each stakeholder may play in the curricular development, because students, professors, NGOs, quality assurance agencies, ministries don't play the same role. All have their own role in curricular development, let's say. Some of them have a direct role, some of them a very indirect, but anyway, they have specific roles. So, academic staff, what they do? They design course content, learning outcomes, assessment methods, teaching and learning methods. They ensure coherence, of the concept. They also integrate research findings and innovations into the curriculum. Well, at least they should do it. Then the students. They provide feedback. Now, the students' role in curricular development. Of course, we develop curricula for the students. They study and their final results. But now let's think of the role they play in curricular development. They provide feedback on learning relevance, workload, instructional methods, or assessment methods. They represent their perspective, learners' perspective about curriculum design. And also sometimes they're part of so-called review committees. I'm sure that you also have review committees or curricular committees or curricular boards in Pakistan. This is the biggest trend, it's a fashion in higher education. Now, all of us all over the world have some curricular committees, and the students are a part of them. And also the students highlight evolving expectations and skills needed for future careers. Students try to imagine the skills they will need. The students try to imagine the knowledge that you will need. Sometimes their expectations are not very realistic. Sometimes they overestimate what their university studies will give them. So I love about the students' attitude. I love very much one anecdote, which is in fact the true story. There was a very famous Georgian, a very good famous Georgian writer in the, 40, 50 years ago, and he went abroad, for some meetings with their audience. His books were translated into some other European languages. And he met somebody and some writers or publishers, and they talked to him in English, but he didn't know English. Well, he didn't feel well that he didn't know English, and he told to this publisher, "I'm so sorry that, but I don't speak English because I was taught German in the school." Well, this publisher answered in German, "Oh, no problem. I speak Deutsch, so we can speak in German." But this Georgian writer didn't know either German. And he didn't feel well, and he gave a very good answer. "Look, my teachers were teaching German to me, but I was not learning." Well, sometimes this is the case with the students, but despite this, their role is important. Their opinion matters. So, it doesn't function. I'm so sorry. What's going on? Why it blocks? Okay, good. Now, employers and industry representatives, they advise on labor market trends and skill requirements. They ensure curriculum aligns with professional and occupational needs, and they provide internship and practical learning opportunities. Look, this is the role of employers and industry representatives in curricular development. But in order to have their feedback effective, they should be well aware of the labor market trends, about skill requirements, about professional standards, So it's important to ask their opinion, but also it's crucial that they are ready to give the proper answers. This is one of the main challenges. That's why we should ask and ask again and again and different stakeholders and compare the results to find the best possible solutions. Then, government and regulatory bodies, they know better than everybody else, what they ask for. They set national curriculum frameworks and standards. They provide funding, oversight, accreditation. They also promote national priorities For example, it can be nowadays it's very fashion, it's trendy in European universities, this digitalization, sustainability, and inclusion. So, and some other educational context, there may be some other national priorities. Anyway, these should be also consulted in order to address the requirements for curricular development. So, professional associations and accrediting bodies, we already mentioned that sometimes they are the same or sometimes they don't function well, especially the professional associations, but still their role could be important. They define discipline-specific requirements. For example, in ICT, I know that they have international standards, or in medicine, they have also double FME standards, also developed by the professional bodies, which are, applicable in international contexts. And also they ensure alignment with licensure or certification standards in some educational contexts, not always and everywhere. So, alumni, which role the alumni may play? They offer feedback based on, look, now this is a magic world. Look, real world experience after graduation. Of course, students' opinions matter, but usually the opinion of the graduates can be a little bit more relevant because they already are employed or they are not employed because they don't have knowledge and skills. That's why they have really not imaginative but real, tangible contact with the cruel world of labor market. They already know the knowledge they needed. They already know the skills they had or they didn't have. They really face the real world. So their feedback is crucial. And usually they provide, well, it depends, okay. And industry representatives may give the really valuable feedback and, students, but in case of alumni, this is, they are more experienced, and usually they are their relevant is quite often most relevant. So they help assess long-term curriculum impact and relevance. Another category, local community and NGOs. Advocate for community needs and social responsibility. This is crucial for the third mission. This is crucial for sustainable development goal of the United Nations we should serve. They also partner in service learning or in civic engagement initiatives. So, and based on my experience, these local community and NGOs are also providing quite relevant feedback because very often they are funded by international organizations, sponsors, donors, in order to make situational analysis of the society's needs. And quite often they have already done the reports about the development of different fields. For example, nowadays I'm working at one university as a consultant because I do quite often, quite intensively consulting both nationally and internationally. So, and one university hired me to help them to build the nursing program. So, and we discovered that there were, studies, labor market study, already done by NGOs about the nursing, about the issues, about the needs of labor market of Georgia in nursing. So, okay, we will organize meetings with some nursing professional organization and we make some interviews with the nurses, but we already have the very good results reports done by NGOs. We are going also to use this this document as feedback, as a needs assessment by the stakeholders, by social partners and NGOs. So, international partners, they help align curriculum with global standards. They contribute to the development of joint or double degree or multiple degree programs. And in general, they help us to boost, internationalization, mobility, raise the trust towards our institutions, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, so any question about the role which different stakeholders may play in curriculum development? Any questions? How these stakeholders can be used, what to expect from them, what asked them? No questions? Very good. So then when you will have group work, then we'll see they may raise some questions, and please, during their independent work in the groups, just keep, the additional questions you may have, and we will discuss at the end of the workshop. Now, the most practical part of our workshop, I would say. Well, I will share with you some ideas which communication and collaboration strategies we may use with different internal and external stakeholders. There's no one recipe, there's no one magic recipe. We can't say that one size fits all. No. It depends, the communication strategy, collaboration strategies, and concrete activities depends very much on the field of the studies, depends very much on the local context, on the labor market, on the societal needs. So there's no one universal recipe. There's no one, one advice, some recommendation which can be used. There's no one way. There's no one tool you may use. There are list of possibilities, list of tools, and you should just be aware of these possibilities, aware of these tools, and just pick up the tools which may help in your case. You may, sometimes something, the experience which worked well in one context may not work in another. For example, at the beginning of my career as a quality assurance professional, to 2006 or 7, I attended a very good workshop or training provided by UK professionals from Pnqahe, Quality Assurance Agency of UK. So, and it was discussed that a very good tool for quality assurance is peer assessment. When peers attend, other peers' lessons and lectures, seminars, and provide their feedback. Which are the strong sides of this professor, a lecturer, which are, some areas of improvement, which are the best practices, which are, challenges. Okay. It was, it sounded so good. It sounded so inspiring, so motivated. At the time, I was head of the quality assurance department of the whole university with the 300 programs and 20,000 students, which is a big number for a small country like Georgia, believe me. So, and I decided to introduce this very innovative, fantastic tool used in UK universities. And frankly speaking, it was disaster for my university. It didn't function. It didn't work. No. Well, I organized, this peer assessment and, make the schedule which professors who should attend the lessons of other seminars. It was, hard work done during the whole semester. And what we achieved? Nothing. because some professors, just praised their peers. So they said that all of them were role models. So no results. That they are blaming the university administration, what a poor infrastructure, your outdated computers, not good equipment, no renovated building. Okay, we knew that there were infrastructural problems, but we really wanted to see, peers assessment. No. And there were a few examples, extremely critical attitude, why? Not because these professors were bad professors, no, because they had some personal issues. And they decided to use this possibility just to punish the professors they didn't like. So it was used for, personal relationships. Why? Because of very different cultural context. The method, the approach which functioned in UK became a disaster in Georgia because of different contexts. So that's why, while choosing the proper strategy, while choosing the proper tools for, in our case, involvement of external and internal stakeholders in curricular development, we should choose the proper tools which may function, may work in our local communities, taking into consideration our cultural characteristics. So now let's go and see what's are the possibilities. Establish formal structures for participation, the most easy thing. Create curriculum committees or advisory boards that include representatives from all stakeholder groups, faculty, students, alumni, employers, and blah, blah, blah. So set clear roles and responsibilities for each group in the review and decision-making processes. So it should be done on paper. It's doable, not so difficult. The main challenge will be how these roles and responsibilities will be implemented, because sometimes we have gaps. Everything is perfect on paper, but it doesn't function in reality. So the main challenge in such cases is proper implementation of fantastic policy papers and regulations. But okay, this is one set of the activities. Another, use multi-channel communication, and I'm a big fan and a big supporter of this approach. Multi-channel communication. Employ a variety of tools, emails, newsletters, meetings, digital platforms, focus groups to keep stakeholders informed, consulted, and involved. But take care. Don't overload the stakeholders with communication. Don't make the communication spam. The golden balance is important. You should communicate not too often, because all of us are overloaded with this information from all possible social networks. We have emails, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, now X. We have WhatsApp, Viber, Signal, Telegram. Sometimes we have several emails, It's a disaster. So we should be very careful. We should communicate using all these electronic channels, but extremely carefully. Use simple and inclusive language to ensure accessibility and clarity across different audiences. This is important. This is extremely important because when we work in the quality assurance cells, when we work on the quality assurance for years, or when we are education professionals and practitioners, we know the terminology, we know the concepts, we know what we're talking about. But imagine some NGOs, imagine, some industry representatives, some doctors, some nurses, I don't know, some school teachers, or I don't know, some engineers. They have no idea what you're talking about. So when you communicate, you should be sure that you use quite simple language, which is understandable for those stakeholders. So avoid, the specific technical terminology and try, to be simple and understandable for the specific groups you're working with. So conduct stakeholder consultations and surveys. Gather input through questionnaires, interviews, town hall meetings, or any, the kind of meetings to identify expectations, priorities, concerns. Involve stakeholders at early stage to ensure their feedback can influence decisions. Well, in this case, previously I mentioned that it was important to use a proper language. And in this case, it's also crucial to use, to formulate the questions in the most proper way. And also, it's important to balance the timetable, If you make, there are lots of things we would like to learn about the curriculum from the stakeholders, especially from, employers or alumni. But are we sure that they have enough time to give feedback? Well, I may be interested in, 20 things, 20 questions. And am I sure that the stakeholders have time to answer 20 questions? No, not at all. So that's why keep, the minimum number of questions, but be sure that with the minimum number of questions, you achieve the maximum results. Here you need the art. This is the art of proper communication. Otherwise, you will send some surveys, questionnaires, nobody will answer, or they will get, just automatic answers which really don't matter. And also, there's a possibility to have this as a closed questionnaires and surveys. You make the life of stakeholders easier, but after these closed questionnaires, it's important to have possibility for some open questions as well. In this case, if the stakeholder has time, is prepared, he or she may give you a valuable feedback, okay? But if he or she doesn't have time or is not qualified, he or she just skip it, okay? So make these questionnaires, surveys as flexible as possible. So leverage or use digital platforms for collaboration. Use tools like shared documents, learning management system, curriculum development platforms for transparent co-creation and real-time collaboration. But again, don't overload the stakeholders. You may use it. This is especially useful for internal stakeholders and less useful for external ones. Organize virtual workshops or webinars to facilitate participation from distant stakeholders, especially international partners and alumni. This is this online communication, this online, video conferences on different platforms. From one side is really very helpful because saves time for the stakeholders, especially in the big cities where the horrible traffic jam. And frankly speaking, during my 20 years of QA career, now when I have this possibility to have the Zoom with the stakeholders, the involvement has been increased, frankly speaking, yes. Because before they should travel, from different points of city, and it was not all of them had time. But now we save time, and from one side we increase stakeholders' involvement because they are just sitting in their offices, or sometimes I have experienced they just join from their cars, from the traffic jams. It's so funny, but I have this experience. So their physical involvement via online physical, metaphorically, as increased, but did it have positive impact on the quality of the feedback? No, not always, because not online communication doesn't have the same impact. For example, now we're talking, and some guys are listening to us online. It's not the same. When you have this face-to-face communication, you exchange energy, and exchange of the energy is important. The atmosphere in the room is helpful for the communication. So, and again here, please have a balance. If you have online, be sure that there's not stakeholder, just joining, but without switched on camera, and just doing, I don't know, their job or cooking, or I don't know what. So, now, promote regular or two-way dialogue. Encourage ongoing communication rather than one-off consultations. Establish feedback loops to demonstrate how stakeholder input is considered and implemented. Provide timely updates and summaries of decisions, and maintain trust and interest. This is crucial. Because sometimes we ask opinion, different stakeholders, students, alumni, NGOs, I don't know, in ministries where I don't know. They give really valuable feedback. They give us really helpful, very useful advices. We use the advices in curricular development, but we fail to inform the stakeholders that their feedback was useful, that we use it, that we implement it, And in this case, we lose the contact with the stakeholder, and also we lose the game with the accreditation. Because when the accreditation experts come and they have interview with the stakeholders, they ask the stakeholders, did you participate in curricular development? Were you advised about curricular development? Have your opinion taken into consideration by the universities? And if you haven't communicated the results of your communication, the feedback, if the stakeholders don't know that you use their feedback in most effective way, they didn't answer. So you use the accreditation game. The accreditation experts think that you don't use, you didn't involve the stakeholders properly in curricular development, but while you did. So this is the crucial way to increase the trust of the stakeholders towards you, and also to have better accreditation results, because the result of accreditation very much depends on how you present what you have done in curricular development, and especially how you present your communication, your really effective communication with the stakeholders. So, build long-term relationships. cultivate continuous engagement by recognizing stakeholder contributions, offering network opportunities, involving them in follow-up phases, curriculum evaluation, internships, guest lectures. Sometimes, they may be invited, to some university events for the graduation or some national celebration. You may invite them for the dinner, for buffet, So in order to keep with them non-formal, informal communication as well. And believe me, while having communication and involving stakeholders, informal communication and personal contacts matter. For example, while introducing each other, many of you mentioned that, okay, my friend, we're close friends. So, and you may have your close friends among the stakeholders. And maybe sometimes your close friends will engage more in your curricular development. They may not find time for somebody, but they may find time for you. They may concentrate more. They may offer more quality feedback to you. But be careful. They shouldn't be biased because they are your friends. So this is very tricky. This is to have a balance. But based on my personal experience, a stakeholder who has good personal professional relationship with us can easily find time, be more involved, more engaged, and if he or she is not biased, you will have the best possible results. But this objectivity, fairness is crucial. It's not enough to have just friend as a stakeholder. No, you should have a friend who is also there, objective. In general, I like very much this phrase that in quality assurance, we need critical friends. So try to find as many stakeholders as possible who will be your critical friends. Next point, encourage alumni and employers to act as mentors, advisors, external evaluators. So it's quite often. And the next possibility, align engagement with institutional strategy. Ensure stakeholder involvement as part of the university's strategic and quality assurance framework, making it sustainable and not ad hoc, the most easy thing. All the universities, all governing bodies write it in their documents. But again, the quality assurance cells should ensure that everything written nicely in the strategic documents is really functioning. That's our main challenge. And my final advice, let's say, assign dedicated staff or units, stakeholder engagement office or quality assurance team to coordinate efforts effectively. Well, frankly speaking, it seems to me that it's a luxury to have, special units for stakeholder communication in the university. Sometimes, public relations departments serve this function. But anyway, the main coordinators usually are representatives of quality assurance units and also program directors. And this is also important to involve and to use the program directors in their personal contacts, as I underlined once again, as critical friends. So, any question about the possible ways of communication and collaboration with the stakeholders, about these possible strategies or activities? Yes, please.
It's lack of communication, effective communication.
Yeah.
We come to the point that the central focus is basically the communication.
Yes, it is. It's a magic world.
Like it again, either it be the internal stakeholders, sometimes even with the parents or the administrator of the organization.
Yeah. Well, in fact, here are the big list. And all this, everything is, functioning around the communication. Well, which is the most difficult thing? Well, it's not enough to communicate. It's important to have, first of all, to have feedback at all, because sometimes we don't have, to have timely feedback, because we're always in hurry, we're always lost in deadlines, and to have proper, effective, qualified feedback. Because sometimes I get the answer, okay, and they tell me that they need a swimming pool in the university. So I'm joking, exaggerating, but so, and sometimes I ask the employer which skills are required, and the employer has no idea. So, in order to have effective involvement of external or internal communication, we need many things together. So, identification of proper stakeholders, building up the proper strategy of their communication via different channels, to have their feedback, to have their timely feedback, to have their useful feedback, reliable feedback, professional feedback. And then when I have all this feedback, all this different opinion, I should triangulate all this information and make the decision what to take into consideration, how to implement the feedback I got from the stakeholders. Yeah. Yeah, it's an art. It's a science. It's an art. Yeah, that's a university. That's a quality. Any other question?
Ma'am, my question is, the college teachers and students are also the stakeholders of the undergraduate study. HEC constructed structure recently undergraduate education policy, but not involved with the teachers and also the students of BSc or BS students.
In fact, for all higher education levels, we have more or less the same stakeholders. We need, involvement of students, alumni, teachers, industry representatives, employers, government, NGOs, professional bodies, all level of studies. Okay, but when I'm discussing the master program, I need involvement of master students or master program graduates. When I'm discussing PhD studies, I need the PhD students. I need PhD graduates. So.
Isn't it that we are again going to the point that you mentioned that it's the extremely critical attitude from both the sides? If on the upper side, so they are not, they don't need to engage stakeholders, the masters degrees.
No, we need stakeholders at all the levels. All the levels. We can't say that we need only on bachelor level. No. Each program may. Well, sometimes we have the same stakeholder for all programs or for two programs. For example, I may have a student who has studied in my university all three levels, bachelor, master, and PhD. In this case, this is 3 in 1. It's like a good shampoo, Yeah. So it's possible. Why not? If the alumni remembers well, but it depends on the context. There's no one recipe, one size doesn't fit all. You always, there's huge experience, there are different approaches, different tools, and you need to choose yourself. As many tools you use, you increase the chances of success. Because if I fail in this, I may gain some results in that. So this variety of different approaches is really very helpful. Good. So let's go now. Well, I check on time. Let's go now to the groups, okay, to group work. So we need 4 groups, please. Relocate yourselves. So we have students here. Just a moment, I will. It doesn't function. So students here, alumni here, employers, NGOs. Employers, please relocate. Employers, NGOs. So relocate, please. Join different groups. And you will have just 20 minutes for discussion and to think of 5 activities for stakeholders' involvement and 5 questions you ask. So you ask the students, you ask the alumni, employers, NGOs, society in general, social partners. Yeah, please relocate. So 4 options. You have 20 minutes. May I take a picture of you? Just how you work, okay? So don't forget to choose one moderator and one rapporteur, and the rapporteur should present the results. You need, no, just a moment. You need here. So write the results here. Okay. Okay, and I will bring you.
Mentors 7th, 8th semester.
So just 10 minutes left. Sorry? Ah, well, okay, great. You will be the first one to present.
Action plan to communicate.
Webinars.
We can test there at the later.
You should proceed with writing. We are waiting for the group. So, two groups are first group, second group, most probably third groups, and fourth group to present the results. We are waiting a little bit. There. So still have 3 minutes left for from the 20 minutes I gave to you.
Asking them about the curriculum, SWOT analysis.
Okay, let's start with you, and then the third and fourth group will catch up.
With your permission, please.
Yes, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So we had a group of 7 people. So after discussion, we have come to the conclusion that that is displayed here. The topic that we were given was employers and the role of employers in compiling or conceiving the curriculum. So that's how we thought that we should go about it. And the first thing that came to my mind was that, first of all, it should be decided that to declare somebody belonging to a particular profession. For example, if we want to call somebody an electrical engineer or a petroleum engineer, then what are the core competencies that he should possess? That without those core competencies, no one would call them the engineer, no one will call them electrical engineer, no one will call them the petroleum engineer. So first of all, define the basic competencies, core competencies that are mandatory that that person should always possess, those skills, the set of skills. So that is to be extracted from the employers, because they know best that how are they going to utilize the manpower that we are producing and the HR that we are generating from our university or institutions. Then we can divide the competencies in 3 separate groups. First of all, the mandatory ones that I already talked of. Second is the desirable ones, that after you achieve those mandatory requirements, what are other desirable character traits or the abilities or the competencies that that person should possess, so that he is a better electrical engineer or a better petroleum engineer or whatever, or a doctor, or even a plumber or an electrician or a carpenter, whatever. Similarly, then additional competencies, that if after having both mandatory and desirable, what are the additional competencies that are to be inculcated in that gentleman. So this is how this will give us the outline of our curriculum, that okay, we are going to have an electrical engineer, he should have those core competencies. These are the additional capabilities that we shall be incorporating into that person.
I would like to add one. I would like to add one more thing in it. Like in old times, there was dispensary courses, and later on, the dispensary courses have been finished, and they have introduced health technicians and technologies. Automatically, that is a more advanced version of dispensary.
Thank you. Then the knowledge is always evolving, and we can't be stagnant. So it is the prerogative of the market to decide that which subjects should be taught in the college and which subjects should be done away with. For example, there was a time when an electrical engineer or a computer engineer were used to be separate, the two completely distinct entities. But then the requirement of electrical engineering knowing much more computer engineering was felt, and therefore another subject came across, and another set of curriculum came out, which was mainly electrical engineering, but with lot of computer engineering inculcated or embedded into the curriculum of the electrical engineer. So this is how the electrical engineer became more useful, because he knew electrical engineering as well as he knew the computer engineering, and so the requirement or his dependence on a separate entity was reduced. Similarly, there are certain subjects which technology advances, and those subjects are no more utilizable, and so they become redundant or obsolete. So the university has to eliminate those subjects. For example, initially a subject, data communication, was taught, in which old topologies of networking were catered for, but then after some time it became useless. So most of the universities removed that subject from their curriculum. So this is how.
Again, adding a few points in the Dr. Saab presentation.
Same, if anyone here from paramedics or allied health sciences, they would know that currently in Pakistan, there is no MS or PhD programs in radiology, in PhD programs in anesthesia, PhD programs in surgical disciplines. So currently they are working on that. So this is what all that have to do with the course makeup of the new programs.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now the second group.
So not complete list.
Well, you haven't finished yet. Well, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But well, please be as
Madam, please listen to us.
as precise as possible because we don't have enough time to left. So precisely, yeah.
Okay. There is a problem-based learning because it's a new concept in which the employer can tell us various problems that we can give, just like the group we are handling the projects here, and the groups can come across with who can handle those and then present their findings. Similarly, and then I had written certain checkpoints, but I'm skipping those. Then the character traits, miscellaneous skills, the communication skills, finance management, SR, whatever is required, labor laws as employees and labor laws as manager, what should be taught to them, employment criteria, how our student would be best selected if they want to recruit, then our student should have those skills. So it should also be known from them. Career growth, and then how we are going to incorporate all this in our curriculum, that is through the board of studies, board of faculty and academic council meetings, in which we'll give the representation to the society and the eminent personalities and the industrialists, etc. So this is how it.
Okay, thank you so much. The second group, just 5 minutes. Thank you. Yeah, microphone, please. Okay, we don't need them there. Let them there, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to having a presentations in a group. So our tasks are distributed into the two subsections. One section is the role of NGO for making a communication to develop a curriculum, like in the stakeholders. Another, what are the questions to need to be asked from the, these questions may be open, these questions may be asked from the teacher lady. So group, at the one part, the action plans need to be communications. These are actually the NGO's action plans need to be asked, need to be make a communication in the curriculum development. Number one is face-to-face. So NGOs make a face-to-face meeting with stakeholders. They may be included students, teachers, curriculum, employments in the higher institutions to make to build a syllabus, to build a curriculum. Social media. NGOs are very cautious about the social media. They are, very cautious about how to entrepreneurship, how to commercialize it. So they make, if they want to add something into the curriculum, they raise the consent and they make it into the social media so that this question or this entity of curriculum may be having a coverage internationally and nationally, and that can be added into the curriculum. They communicate with emails and newspapers, websites. They're having a websites. If they got an making an addition of curriculum, they get uploaded in the website that we have included such kind of criteria into stakeholders. Meeting and events, they meet to the curriculum and they made that these sub-criteria and these sub-expectations need to be included. They make a meeting and they elaborate in the form of events. So there are here some questions they need to be asked. These are the open questions actually. What are the goals and how these will be achieved? Who are the key stakeholders? How can we how we ensure contributions? What channels should we use? How will we measure the success? So these are actually the open questions need to be explored more about the stakeholders, the communication via the NGOs.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The third group, please, 5 minutes only.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Javed, speaking on behalf of Group 3. Thank you. Our action plan, that is, we represent the alumni. 3 steps are involved there: how to communicate between the alumni, and then that communication, how that can be converted into collaboration. And that collaboration then will have questions about how to link that with the curriculum redesigning. So, and first we have the communication, we have the platforms there that can be in the form of emails, that can be in the form of social media or newsletter there, some webinars there, all the alumni union there. To convert that communication into collaboration, so focused group can be based on the subject specialty also. That is the formations of special groups. We can have the alumni chapters that may be based on the location, that may be based on the different batches, that may be based on different subjects, etc. And among those alumni, we may have some alumni that are actually involved in this curriculum redesigning, so that that collaboration can be converted into implementation. Or for that, we also could have alumni advisory board, and that is for the future that can be in the digital collaboration form also. The questions that can be raised that are mainly linked with the curriculum redesigning. First, that is, which skills if that are highly in the market absorptions with the alumni, they face many of the hurdles, and especially that if there is a fresh person, a fresh alumni who has faced interviews, what type of interviews, what types of questions were more relevant in that that are relevant to an industry. Also, some of the alumni who are involved in different industries, these questions can be about what are the latest trends or tools that are mostly popular in their concerned departments. The second last question is that there, the implementation of the taught curriculum, that is skills which were taught but that were useless in the real market. And on that basis, if they were useless, what were the different skills on or the courses, the modules that were needed to keep themselves updated in the market? Thank you.
No, you would like to add something? Yeah.
Start with this name of Allah, who is the most gracious and merciful. Sir already discussed all these things. So we have the communication and collaboration and the question. So the communication means just share idea between the people and idea and thought. So the communication we are already sir told you that, for example, of the we share through the seminar and the webinar and the email and these things. And the collaboration means we just you know that the improvement in the communication, for example, which we study already in the communication through the collaboration, we support and improvement all these things. And after that, for example, we arise the question, and the question, for example, we also improvement communication and collaboration. For example, if for example you are now in the paramedics, sir already discussed these things. For example, in the paramedics there have no MPhil and no PhD and no MS. So Now, but initially, for example, if someone make the syllabus and curriculum, so initially they have a lot of problem. So, for example, after the communication and collaboration and question, we increase and we improve their syllabus and curriculum. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The last but not least, the final group.
The group that I'm going to sign is group one.
What microphone? Please. Yeah.
Am I not laudable? Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Amir Sizad Khan. I'm representing the students group for this activity. Two activities we have to conduct. First one is action plans, 5 action plans regarding the major stakeholder, which is student and its internal stakeholder. We have deliberated on this together, and we thought that the following 5 activities would be important for us to conduct with the students. So first of all is a design survey regarding the existing curriculum. How come, we improve it if we don't know what we need to be improved, So this is our first activity. We will be designing it and we will be sharing it with the students to know how can we improve it further, right? Then the second activity we have like the placement and mentorship related meetings or workshops that we could be conducted with the students during the semesters, and in this way we will getting their feedback and then we can collaborate with them accordingly. The third activity we have that we will be asking the graduate students that to conduct SWOT analysis about the existing curriculum at the end of this, their graduation period, and we can implement those weaknesses and address them accordingly during the statutory bodies meetings. The fourth one is that we will be creating peer groups, and we were working on it that it should be not in the same class, but it could be with the seniors and the juniors together, so they can talk about it, that we have studied this before in our class and this is what we learn, and the course have these weaknesses, and you can talk about it and you can look into it and discuss it with the teachers and implement it in the curriculum accordingly. The most important one, and this one is quite interesting, we give the assignments to the students to co-create the curriculum or for that particular course during the beginning of the course. So the student will be working on it and they will come up with the knowledge they would love to know and to be discussed in the whole, you can say, class in this regard. So these are the 5 activities we were working on and should be, a part of it for effective communication and collaboration. Regarding the 5 questions that we have asked, the first one is that what skills would you like to learn that helps you towards your career goals? It's basically to understand the expectations of the students regarding this particular course, so we can implement the same, and it should be normally asked at the very beginning of the course. Then we have another question, that what would you recommend from the existing, that because when a teacher is I'm not myself a teacher, so I can only talk about what we have learned here in this group. And normally at the very start of a course, a teacher normally share the content of the course with the students, and they says that these are the courses, the course content per week. We'll be studying these topics, so everybody knows that what they are going to study in the whole course. So accordingly, we'll be asking them, what would you like to add more into the curriculum material, so we can facilitate you that through industrial or involvement, or through other guest lectures, experts, etc. The third question we have, that was the mode of delivery of the curriculum interactive? Like normally students were sitting in and they just only listen to the instructor, and the instructor is talking from the start of the class, just okay, my time starts starts now, and now time, let's end. Thank you very much, and then goes. Is it like that, or were they, you were involved in the whole course delivery, like just like this whole workshop? So, and in that way, we can, improve the mode of delivery of the course for the students. The fourth important questions that we would love to ask the students is that, has the existing curriculum made you a more confident or more articulated person? Because one of the, as you can say, in the previous workshop, we understand that students are our customers, right? And we are selling our services to them. And at the end, we are actually making our customers as the product of our institution. So were they actually become that product that we were expecting to make them? So it's one of the key questions that we'll be asking the students. And most importantly, do you feel well equipped for the job market? This is the most significant one. Like, for instance, if a student has completed his study, and I was astonished to know that one of the colleagues shared this idea with us, that a student has finished his master's degree and he was unable to even write an email for job interview or for the job application. So these are just a couple of soft skills that a student must need to acquire during his degree program, so become to at least communicate with the job market accordingly. So those are our few working in this short moment, but it was a very interactive one and we learned a lot. Thank you, ma'am. And my moderator was Dr. Asma Awan, and these are my colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, well, we share some very interesting and preliminary ideas, and I hope that you have some ideas as well. We are at the end of the workshop, just 5 minutes to summarize and to ask my final question. Just one logistical announcement. After the workshop, we should go out and to take a family photo. So, but before the family photo, I would like to share with you one secret, which I kept for the last minute of the workshop. During the workshop, we said that it's not easy to get the proper answers, because it questions whom you ask, how you ask, many different factors play a role. And very often, and it's important also to be open, to be objective, to be fair. And sometimes we know that students, or sometimes the graduates, are not very open. Sometimes they don't want to be critical because they are afraid of the consequences. For example, if I say that I don't like something, I may be punished by the professor. So that's why the students are not very open always. So there's one magic question you may ask, and to get the proper answer from the students and also from the graduates. So you don't ask what you like or what you don't like. You ask what you would change in the curriculum. When you ask about the changing, the students and alumni, they are not afraid, because you are not asking something bad, something, something negative, something critical. No, you just ask what you would change. And they feel, they somehow relaxed. They don't, they are not afraid anymore that they will be punished if they will be critical. So they suddenly, I don't know how, but it works, believe me. It works in 7 from 10 cases. They feel relaxed. They are not afraid. They somehow open, and they start sharing with you some ideas really about existing issues. They start sharing with you some ideas about improvements, about developments, about innovations. Okay, but they know that they're not critical. So, and you may get very effective answer, that really useful answers, by rephrasing the question, what you would change in the program. And there are many other questions you may reformulate to get the former answers, but you need the whole life. Yes, please.
When we ask students about change something about course, particularly about or if they did not type anything. One way what I do in my class is that I ask them anonymous.
Yeah.
And I ask them write whatever you want. So when as long as their name is not on the check, they give you, your ideas.
Unfortunately, anonymity then doesn't always help, because now all the students know that it's possible using electronic devices somehow to guess who answered, or they are afraid that they may be caught.
Also,
Well, there was a case, a real case from my experience. One of my students, my former students, went to US in Columbia University to study on master level, and they didn't like one lecture, one lecture, and they gave. It wasn't a time before electronic surveys, and the students were filling surveys, by hand, by writing. So, and they gave some critical comments to this lecture, and this lecture tried to guess the authors of these critical comments based on their handwriting and comparing their handwritings to their essays, to the written essays, So, yeah, anonymity helpful, but not always. And this question I propose to you, it's very useful during the during the focus groups, when you sit face to face and have more open discussion. So, and now my last question, just 3 ideas. What are your key takeaways from today's workshop as a summary? Just 1 or 2 or 3 ideas maximum. Takeaway, please.
How to engage students, and the one thing that I was supposed to say that I was feeling that how things we communicate when we are giving the lectures to our students. It was quite difficult for me when you were starting after tea. So being a student looking into these things, this is quite challenging. That it's being a teacher, when we are going to engage our students, we have to bring them in activities, engage them in new ideas, multiple approaches, two-way traffics. That at once we have to accept that where we lack, what are the lacks. That. Thank you.
Okay. The second idea. Who? Okay.
My answer is simple. Feedback is very important. Feedback is very important. Without appropriate feedback, we can't improve.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. And last, if you will be, precise, we may. Well, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's all. We already take.
Actually, I had the idea that stakeholders are very important while conceiving the curriculum, but I didn't know that they're so much important. I the onus still lies on the academicians that they have to come up with a good curriculum. But now, after going through your lecture, now I realize that you can't move an inch if you are not taking on board all the stakeholders.
Okay, thank you so much. Please.
Being activated, excited for the need and importance of curriculum development, and as well as importance of curriculum development, importance of stakeholders in the development of curriculum.
Great, thank you. Okay.
I think so, ma'am, in order to improve the curricula and the requirements of the present day, we should get feedback from the students in indirect way, so that the students doesn't feel that they will be punished.
Yeah.
Like you can say at the end of your course or lecture that what are the weak area that I should improve? What are the improvement sides or contents that we should include?
Okay, thank you. And your final.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The key takeaway in my understanding is that in this line of work, your funds must be critical. and they should be unbiased. And most importantly, the accreditation bodies, they are sending experts. So those are actually a pool of experts in your relevant fields, and they are actually your friends. You know them, and somebody's working in a different university A, and somebody's in university C, and the accreditation body send them to your university, and okay, I know them. We will have a good tea and refreshment, and maybe they can give a positive feedback about your university. But at this time, if they are critical and unbiased, that I think could give you a better response and could actually contribute to the curriculum development and the development of all the, I would say, the implementation of quality assurance in the institution, and vice versa. But you should not be like having some inner agenda or grudges for that person. Okay, the next time I'm visiting that university, let me do him the favor, So you have to be very keen on that. So that's the key takeaway. We have to be very cautious about it. And most importantly, thank you so much for such a wonderful and interactive session. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I hope to see you again next year. Thank you. So now we go to make a group photo. Somewhere outside, and we'll find out together. But I should get rid of this, which is not easy at all. Okay.